Hello, welcome back to Git presentation series. I am Satyadev. In the last presentation, we have learned about what is VCS, which is nothing but version control system. In this presentation, we will see what are the various types of version control systems that are available. Let's go to the next slide. Well, if you want to classify them into types, a version control system can be classified into three types. One is local version control systems. Second, centralized version control system. Third, distributed version control system. So, local version control system is abbreviated as LVCS. Centralized is abbreviated as CVCS, and distributed is abbreviated as DVCS. Let's get to the each one of those version control systems. Now, localized version control system. This system tracks changes on a single computer. Now, the example I told you in my last presentation where I just want to save my code or save my documents in my machine, but I don't want to do it manually. Now, if there is a tool, software tool that lets me do that, for example, it's able to identify a directory and just say, okay, save these files. Just click on a button or some way of or a pop-up menu or right click or whatever it is. Say update these files or save these files. It should automatically pick those files, save it in some other place, so that if I want to, after 10 days, if I want to go back to the file that is saved 10 days before, it should be able to give me back pretty easily. So, but this is on my computer only. Nobody has got access to this. So only I know. If I have to send these files to somebody, I have to send them manually. Let's say somebody wants version, I got like 10 versions of the files, third version, for example. Then I need to ask the LVCS, local version control system, give me the third version. That will give me the third version, and I can send that third version. Well, saving and retrieving is easy if we have a tool in the local machine, but when it comes to collaboration, it is difficult. That's what I was talking about. I'm going to talk about in this slide. Like there are several local version control systems. One example is revision control system, which is a pretty old system, but yeah, RCS is one of the localized version control system. The advantages are simple. The local LVCS is very simple to use, and this is on my machine, so it's very fast to access, and it doesn't require a lot of network or anything like that. It's low resource requirement is there. Now the challenge is, like I said, collaboration cannot be done, right? So that is LVCS. Let's go to the next one. CVCS, centralized version control systems. These systems store project history on a central server that all users can access. So instead of having repository locally, this is version control system locally, it is there on a server. Let's say I have a project where like 5 people are working on, right? All the five people will connect to that machine. There is a client kind of application sitting on all 5 of these machines to access that server. So what they need to do is they just, once they are done with their changes, they just say, okay, push these changes to the server, kind of button or some menu item, whatever may be the UI feature that the client provides. So all the 5 people access to the same code base. That way they can change. Now, when the version control system is centralized, there are a couple of challenges. That is, the challenge is merging, right? So one guy has made some changes on a file a.text. Another guy has changed changes on b.text. But whereas the third guy has made changes on a.text only. Now for b.text, the second guy, there is no problem because he is the only guy who made changes. But on the file a.text, two different people made the changes on their own computers. Now when they try to push those files, there is going to be a conflict. The simple way of doing this, whoever has done first, that you can just assign that and override with the previous one. That is the simplest way of merging the conflicts. But that has a challenge, because if there are areas in the file that are kind of merged, different, then it's a problem, right? So basically you cannot just copy from one person on top of another person. You have to make sure that the system should make sure that they should merge whatever they have done when they have done changes on the same file. So the centralized version control system takes care of those things, and there are very good number of centralized version systems available. For example, Subversion, CVS, ClearCase, VSS, Visual Source Safe, which is from Microsoft. So like that, there are so many centralized version control system. The advantage is team collaborations. So see, the centralized version control system, CVCS, they do provide collaborative way of checking in files. Now again, I want to emphasize the fact that it's not just one file. In a day, a person can check in multiple files. So the CVC should be able to support all of those things, multiple files at a time. So the advantages like team collaboration, single repository. A repository is nothing but a place where things are stored. It's like a storage kind of thing, right? So single repository, access control, integrability. So like I said, basically they all come under team collaboration. The challenge is if the central server fails, nobody will have access to that, right? So again, it has to be up. For some reason, the central server machine has gone bad completely, then all the changes are gone. This is not really good. So that's the limitation of centralized version control system. Let's see the next one. Now, DVCS, distributed version control system. Each user has a complete copy of project history on their computer and optionally on a central repository as well. This is a mix of local version control system and central version control system. It's actually having both things. Now it's like this. I have the entire repository, which is like version control system on my machine. Also, I can have the same thing on the on a server. Now, even if my machine has gone bad, I can just go and get from the server. Similarly, if server is gone bad, I can always make sure that update it, and because the whatever server has, I got everything at my place. So it's like having server at two places, one on my local machine, one on a different machine where multiple people can access. So basically that's the advantage of distributed version control systems. Git is one of the distributed version control systems, and there are other things, but in this presentation we are only focusing on Git. Now advantages are offline work, redundancy, fast performance, enhanced collaboration, scalability. So these are all the various advantages of distributed version control system. This is the solution for the versioning problems. So nowadays everybody is using this distributed version control system, which is nothing but Git nowadays. I think 90%, if not 100% of the projects use Git to Git as their version control system. Thank you very much.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe VNR Digital Learning Resource YouTube channel.